first things first. I liked Tadc. I know, love it or hate it. You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was good for the things they did well. You know, telling an entertaining story, especially from an animation off of YouTube. Like this is we're not talking about other indie animations. You know, but you know what I'm saying? It did well for what it was. In my opinion, as somebody that really don't watch a lot of TV at all, and I just really be on YouTube watching analysis videos and stuff like that. Like sitting here and watching Tadc, it was most definitely a very entertaining experience. Really, I ain't gonna lie, saying it was eye opening is kind of crazy, but it kind of was, right? Especially the movie. It really did change my perspective on like friendships and how being afraid to be vulnerable can hurt the people around me. Even though it seems like it's only affecting me, it really is affecting the people around me. So yeah, it really did open my eyes for real. But other than that, man, I ain't gonna lie, that shit was straight booty. I mean, I'm not gonna say all that, but it wasn't the greatest thing, right? So let me start with CNA. And I know. Oh, everybody always talk about the CNA plot. Man, it wasn't supposed to matter until episode 6 or 7 or whenever. Like, man, I'm not trying to hear that. CNA was popped up as this whole very important thing, and then it was sidelined for, it wasn't explained, mind you. It wasn't explained. It was sidelined until, like, episode, 8? Because that's when King was like, where's Kinger? But, yeah, it was sidelined until, like, episode 8. And I'm like, bro, was it not supposed to be more important? Wasn't that not supposed to be, like, the escape? Wasn't the episode prior, Kane was just, like, he was looking at pictures of CNA? I'm like, is this going to be more important? It's like, so many things were introduced in the beginning of the show just to be explained later for half an episode, which, in my opinion, CNA being, like, the whole reason behind all of this should have been way more important. No? Like, come on now. What are we not understanding about that? But that's enough talking about CNA. I plan on making a whole video about that, and Kane, and Bubble, and Kinger, and Scratch, and all that extra stuff, so I'm going to get off that. Now I'm going to talk about Jax. Now, don't get me wrong. Jax's story, in my opinion, without interacting with the fandom, I'm gonna put it like that. Jax's story is like very, very convoluted. It's kind of everywhere and nowhere at the same time. This guy must be Wally West, you know what I'm saying? It's just a huge mess. Bars. But yeah. It's just because in my personal opinion, when I first watched it, it was more about trying to basically not be vulnerable. Like being vulnerable with people was being seen as basically a problem in Jax's eyes. And that was really it until the finale. At least that's how I seen it. And then we get to the finale, and is this whole other idea of identity is introduced, and I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Now, after having watched the show, watched the movie, seen a few videos, doing analyses on Tadc, I know that it was way more to Jax's character, you feel me, than I initially thought. But I always thought Jax's character revolved around this whole, something happened to me in the past, which it technically was, but something happened to me in the past, and I'm putting up all these facades, this character, so it doesn't get revealed to anybody, which held true. But I really didn't pay attention to this underlying side plot, damn near, of Jax hiding a significant portion of himself, you feel me? Well, not to speak for the people, but to say what the people are saying, it really did feel like it was thrown in last second. Like, you probably know what I'm talking about, the fact that Jax is trans femme. It really did, or queer adjacent. I'm gonna start spamming that. I heard that from an analysis video. I'm like, oh shit, is he spitting? But, you know what I'm saying? It really do, speaking from my experience, as somebody that did not interact with the fandom, did not know you know what I'm saying? Because I can talk about the hints and what they meant to me, that everybody else was saying, oh, it should have been obvious. It wasn't obvious to me. I seen Jax's room, personally, it looked like a daycare room. I was like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, Jax got hold with his room. I ain't even gonna flag. You feel me? The egg analogy, honestly, didn't even know what that meant. I had to go look that up. I was like, oh, I see. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was just instead of going over every hint, oh, and I'm gonna just say this right quick, the maid dress to me, that was just a gag, and it had always been a gag. But instead of going over every hint, it's like, every hint was so subtle and easily missable, until you really was like, let me look into this further, and then you start to realize, then it starts to make more sense. I didn't watch Tadc like that. I watched Tadc in 3 days, plus, you know what I'm saying, I watched the whole series, plus the movie in 3 days. So I wasn't, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I wasn't paying attention, because I most definitely was, but watching the whole show that fast, and not being able to basically hyper-analyze every episode, like I usually do with most shows I watch, I most definitely missed out on a lot. And I'm not sure if that's just me not paying attention, because I really wanted to watch this and get it out the way, or it's just shit writing, but you know what I'm saying, it might be a little bit of both. No offense to the big works, man. She got more literature written out than me, you know what I'm saying, working on bigger projects than me, so I can't really talk shit. But yeah, Jax's story, in my opinion, was really just like, it seemed so one note. Like Jax, the character themselves, didn't seem one note at all. But how their story was going, seemed that way. But that's enough of Jax. I can only say so much about Jax. Let me talk about Pomni. Scratch that. I actually want to talk about Ragatha first. Now, I'm not sure if I end up talking about Ragatha later, but I'm going to talk about Ragatha right now. Because, bro, like, that whole arc right there had me so mad. Because how Jax gonna get mad at Ragatha for breaking that fuck-ass promise? That don't even make sense. Jax basically said, we can assume that he said something along the lines of, this is what happened between me and Ribbit. If you ever bring it up, I'm basically going to do the same thing that I did to you to her. I'm never going to talk to you ever again. Why? Like, we know narratively why Jax keeps making that promise, but it's like, holy crap, bro. Like, holy shit. Give it a fucking break. It didn't work last time. You're just going to sit here and do it again. And we know, like, Jax's whole thing is that he continuously repeats his mistakes no matter what. But, man, speaking on Ragatha, man, Ragatha Ragatha need to learn how to put her foot down more, man. Like, it was so many times where Ragatha just needed to put her dukes up there and just start beating the fuck out Jax. I'm not gonna lie. It's sometimes where he needed that. Need to get his ass whooped, man. What? And keep playing like that, and you gonna need your ass whipped. Like, come on, man. That shit was getting me heated, bro. And then, I mean, I could talk about Ragatha all day, bro, about the backstory and how that wasn't elaborated on, how nobody shit was elaborated on, actually. But, man, it ain't no point in being a dead horse. Like, nah, I ain't gonna lie. I really gotta spin back on this point because we already knew to a certain extent what all the character spheres was, but it wasn't really shown, like, really shown until episode 8 during the whole Kane crash out thing. And it's like, bro, what do you mean I had to wait until episode 8 to find out everybody else's shit beyond Zubul? Like, come on now. And then as soon as it was getting fired, as soon as Kane was basically about to force everybody to have an arc, the writers, it was like, yeah, nah, and deleted them just like that. Like, dang, bro, God forbid somebody try to push the story forward. Just can't have that. Like, come on, bro. Now with Pomni, you can tell, like, off rip that Pomni is way more important than initially comes off, and we found out later because she basically parallels Ribbit in like almost every way, right? Almost every way, not in all ways. Can I tell you those ways? No, other than like being like super empathetic. But the only thing that makes Ribbit and Pomni different, in my opinion, is that Pomni, when Pomni was pushed away, she didn't stress it because, and the reason why that is because Ribbit had literally seen a different side of Jax that Pomni didn't see. So it's like it wasn't, in my opinion, in Pomni's eyes, it wasn't really nothing to fight for. Jax has always been like that. But other than that, Pomni, she just, like, Pomni was like a road to nowhere, bro. I'm expecting her to be the main character. The focus is on Pomni. And she has one arc. And that's just barely an arc. It's about a character that, the GOAT, only behind Kinger, right? The GOATer. Kane was like, oh, NPC got through the door? Get him out of here. Made him explode. I'm like, yo. And that was like Pomni's whole thing for, well, other than trying to escape. But that wasn't important after episode fucking 1. So it's like, Pomni's no longer trying to escape. The only thing she cares about is basically gummy goo. Like, bro, give it a fucking break. All right, you could have made Pomni, and I said this in another voiceover that I deleted, but Pomni would have been way more interesting if her character was literally taken anywhere. Like, it could have been the dumbest shit ever, and she would have been a far more well-written character. I mean, she's already well-written, but she would have been far more interesting. That's what I meant. But yeah, I ain't really got nothing to say about Pomni. It's just like she just came off extremely one note. I do like the fact that she was headstrong though. I do like that. I am glad she wasn't like a pushover type main character. Well, main character if you want to put it like that. I do like that she wasn't like a pushover type main character. But yeah, I ain't really got nothing to say about her. Let's talk about Kane. Kane, like, my what? Because it would be behind Kinger, and probably, well, nah, it would be behind Jax. Then it'd be Kane, and then it'd be Kinger. So Kane, in my opinion, Kane's just funny. He had a cool little arc, and that shit was straight. It was, well, Kane and Bubble. I gotta count Bubble because, in my opinion, Bubble is just. I'm pretty sure I said this in my last voiceover, but Bubble is just way more important than he initially comes off. But Kane was just hilarious the whole fucking time, bro. Like, I know this is supposed to be a rant, and it sounded like Glaze, but man. The only thing I didn't like about Kane is that he didn't pop up enough. All right, put more Kane in the show. Have him like crash out for like half of the show on some Am type shit, and that would 10 out of 10 character. 10 out of 10 character, honestly. But for how long Kane was there, like the times he were there and the things he did do, oh yeah, it was great. But I do hate the fact that his character arc got wrapped up so quickly because of the movie. It's like they didn't want to elaborate on Kane, and that's what I didn't like about Kane. Well, about Kane's arc. That really has nothing to do with Kane. That's really just writing. But yeah, that's what I didn't like. And another thing, man. So at the end of the movie, right, Kane pulls out this drill, and it's supposed to be a reference to Gurren Lagann, and it didn't break the wall. Like, stop disrespecting my goat, Simone the Digger, right? And in the Gojo, talking about hollow purple, it fills the LARP. Now Kinger, I ain't got nothing bad to say about Kinger. Kinger's just the goat. Who was Kinger? The goat. You feel me? Now, what makes Kinger so tough, right, in my eyes? First of all, he fanned the revolver. You don't see a lot of people able to do that. What you mean? He in the dark, he talking about made that bitch sound like a semi-auto chop, bill. I'm like, yeah, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. What else did? Oh, and then Kinger be dropping knowledge. Like that one time he spoke to Pomni. That way Kinger be dropping dumb knowledge. He hella said to Pomni, you know, I don't watch a lot of things, but as long as I got the memories, I'm gonna be all right. Cool lad. And then he gonna go about 3 episodes later and talk to Ragatha. He said, listen, man, you can't be there for everybody, but for the people that really do matter to you, you don't gotta be there every day. But as long as they know you care for them, that's all that matters, and you know that they care for you. Oh, he's spitting. and then after he drops some profound knowledge, he'll say, what were we talking about? You were talking to me? Did you say something? He'll say some stupid shit like that. Like, no fucking way, bro. No way. Like, bro, I might have to rewatch Tadc just for Kinger, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Kinger and Kane, because they just too funny. That shit was really profound for real. Straight Glaze. I was sitting there. I was like, damn, he's spitting. Might have to add that to the notes, man. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I fuck with Kinger. Even though he was sidelined too, because apparently he was a programmer at CNA, and we don't find this out until episode 8. It's just like the same critique over and over again, man. Not enough shit was built up and then elaborated on, or even shown. And if it was shown for like 1 episode, forgotten about, and then it was brought up when it was important. Fucking 5 episodes later. Like, Lee. I mean, we already knew that Kinger was more important than what was let on. But it's like, come on now. Why did I have to wait damn near 6 episodes for Kinger to actually do something with this importance he has? Like, come on, man. Overall, my opinion on the show is, I'm pretty sure I already said this, but I'm gonna just say it again. Overall, my opinion on the show is that it did everything it needed to do, just not enough. And the fact that Gooseworks has to come out and clear up a whole bunch of things, because look, I heard, because I'm not really an internet guy. I post my art and I'm done, right? I don't be on TikTok, I don't be on Instagram, I don't be on X, I don't be on anything, right? But I think, from what I've seen, I believe that the fandom played a major part in the fact that Gooseworks is just afraid to confirm a lot of shit. I'm not gonna lie, because the fandom, and I get that's the whole point. You want your fandom to be intrigued, but when your fandom, when your community makes it seem like they're writing your show better than you, bro, that has to be a top 10 most aggravating experience, bro. I can't tell you how many times a fandom has I have not interacted with a fandom because it would just outright ruin the experience for me. Like, bro, I watched Tadc, I was confused, rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? But then I found out that Gooseworks barely, like, her heart wasn't even in it no more, because the fandom talking about, oh, you should really do that, you should really do that. Like, bro, the fandom gotta learn how to just be quiet and let the show finish, bro. If you got any opinions, have those opinions after the show is done, bro. I can't tell you how many projects are rushed or half-ass finished because the creator just doesn't want to do it anymore. And it's like, it's like, bro, I believe Tadc could have been so much better if it wasn't for the fandom, and most importantly, Matt Pat. Because why is this guy fucking predicting everything, man? See, that's why he needed to go. He needed to retire. I'm not gonna lie. He needed to retire. He's dangerous. See, he needs to retire. Well, he already retired, but he needed to retire before I started writing my shows and animations and books and shit. Because only Matt Pat being like, by the symbolism, that's how you know you're cooked. Soon as Matt Pat starts talking about symbolism and connections and shit, like, yeah, just know your whole series is getting predicted, and it's over. But yeah, that's all I really had to talk about. It's just overall to conclude, Tadc was an entertaining watch. It's most definitely like a fandom situation. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and blame like the whole fandom, but I do believe the fandom played a major part in how the show ended up finishing. But other than that, it was good for what it did do. Well, for what I expected it to do. For what I expected it to do, and that was to be an entertaining animation on YouTube, and it delivered on that front. So yeah, other than that, I ain't really got no more to say about it. I mean, this video was supposed to be a rant. It damn near sound like a glaze. I'm just gonna name it Tadc Glaze with a hint of ranting. But that's it. All right, so I wanted to put this in right here. These last few parts, like, if they don't sound like they're connected to to the voiceover I just did, that's because, well, I think I've already said this, but there was originally a voiceover that I deleted, and these last few minutes are part of that last voiceover. But I thought they were funny, I thought they were valid, so I'm leaving them in. But that's just a disclaimer. So if it seems like I'm repeating stuff that I've already said, that's why. All right, so I really wanted to put this at the end to like really elaborate on some things that I felt like I missed out on explaining during the video. So obviously we know that Jax is supposed to be a cautionary tale of somebody that just refuses to change in all aspects of his character, right? So that's really what I was getting into, bro. And I think other than that, I really elaborated on everything else. I mean, I guess I can fit in the other characters in right now, and my critiques on them. Ragatha just didn't put her foot down enough for me. It was so aggravating that she was just letting Jax basically throw her around, bro. And every time she did, like, people on TikTok were saying that every time that Ragatha stood up for herself, Pomni was like, oh, let's calm down. But how do I explain it, bro? It's like, you can tell that Pomni can tell that whatever Ragatha said, which we know she was talking about Ribbit, it clearly struck a nerve. That was the whole point. It just wasn't seen that way, right? Whatchamacallit. But yeah, bro, Ragatha just doesn't put her foot down enough, and the whole thing with her mom just wasn't elaborated on enough to where we don't know if it was mental abuse or if it was physical or whether it was both. And it was like, dang, why is everybody getting sidelined, bro? Bro, Kinger, we find out that he gets into the headset, and then we learn about Queenie, which I'm assuming that she's another programmer, and she ends up getting fucking obliterated, talking about some, oh, together forever. And then Kane talking about some, oh, well, into the summer you go. Don't go strapping on me now. Like, nigga, what? I mean, like, bro, what? And then what else, man? Zubul. Bro, we don't even see Zubul come into the fucking circus, bro. Their part was just left out for whatever reason. And then it's like, I know the movie was supposed to focus on Jax the most, but it literally elaborated on nothing else. And it's like, bro, just at that point, you should have just gave Jax his own episode and then use the movie to elaborate on everybody else. That's the only quorum I really have with Tadc. See, I know I was supposed to end the video like 8 voice messages ago, but I mean, voiceovers ago, but I forgot to talk about Gangle. Gangle was just like, I don't know. I say that about everybody. I don't know. But Gangle was just, well, just like everybody else, just really wasn't elaborated on. But I guess her fear was just being a failed artist. But it's like, dude, why did I have to watch until episode 8 to understand that? At least we knew what Zubul's fear was since the beginning. at least we knew, right? Is that, well, it was, you already know Zubul's story is about basically, in the circus, it's about their body, but not being seen for basically who they really are, being unable to be seen for who they really are, right? And beyond the episodes where Zubul is specifically talking to Kane, we don't see that anymore until episode 8, and that's what's frustrating. Why is everything happening in episode 8? And it's only happening for like 2 minutes of this 30-minute episode, bro. That shit was just frustrating as fuck. But the only thing, and I just keep adding stuff at the end, bro, sorry, but the only thing I can really give Tadc credit for is the fact that they really do make you feel for the characters, bro. Like, one character that I really felt for the most, even though she had like such a small amount of screen time compared to the screen time of like everybody else and just the whole show in general, the playtime of the show, is Ribbit, bro. Because that experience, bro, I'm not gonna say I went through something that's like exactly the same, but as somebody that used to push people away like a lot, and it just really put into perspective, like, damn, sometimes it's not even that serious, fam. Sometimes people just want to talk to you. Sometimes people just want to hang out with you. And the fact that you're just so insecure within yourself about something that happened to you, like, don't get me wrong, not a lot of people are comfortable being super vulnerable, but seeing that your inability to be vulnerable can hurt somebody else like that, bro, it just really like put it into perspective for me. And that like, it was just that, oh man, it was just that part where she was like, I don't know what happened between us. And then Jess was like, what do you want? She was like, I really just miss talking to you. I was like, oh my God, yo, that shit had me so hurt, bro. I would have been like, I ain't gonna lie, if I was Jess, I would just would have folded right there, bro. What? It would have been over with that. I'm really done.